let me start with you, Dr. Idel. It started off, I think, on Sunday.
On Saturday?
No, I mean the reports that violence was being perpetrated as part of the exercise. I think it started Sunday in Ododo. That was when we had the first one. Now, Mr. Eugene Entry of the Ashanti region campaign team of the MPP is also telling us of some other violence or other sort of events that are coming up as blockades to the exercise. Really, has the NDC got other people at the polling centers apart from the accredited persons who are supposed to be there?
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering when he was mentioning some of these issues and keep mentioning that it is the NDC tags, NDC men, NDC macho men all over the place. I think as if it's only the NDC who actually mandated their people to go around and causing all this problem. His allegation is unfounded because we as a party in government would like to ensure that this exercise goes on in a very free and fair manner. Everybody should get opportunity to register. There are rules and regulations governing us. Nobody can bring a foreigner. Saying 200 foreigners. How can that happen in a particular place that you carry out with 200 foreigners to come and give them ID cards, give them national education and what? How can that happen?
But has the party got any reports of these issues?
We have not received any reports of such issues they are saying. And if you look at since the starting of this registration, MPP has been accusing NDC everywhere. We have blocked people from registering. We have refused. We are bringing foreigners and here and there. That is unfounded. We don't. There are rules and regulations governing that. We can't. I cannot bring a foreigner to register. Anybody who comes to the registration center must first of all show evidence of citizenship. That is, you must either show your former ID card, your old registration card, voter's ID card, your passport. So these are rules. And if you doubt it, if you at all the person doesn't have, bring two witnesses to witness that he's a Ghanaian. And these are rules. And if that happens, and you think that the person is still not a Ghanaian, they said there is a challenge form. So I don't see bringing facts to vandalize the place and what have you will solve the problem. So I was taken aback when these allegations, like I'm not even in any consequences. If you look at Ashanti region, you see the point. So some of these issues that keep coming. I think that we have rules and regulations. We have the police who are supposed to handle some of this matter. If you think somebody is there wanted to block, report them out to the police so that they take the person on the back. Saying it's NDC and whether people are putting NDC t-shirt, I don't know whether I don't know how they even classify whether those people there are the NDC, whether they have NDC cars or they are putting NDC t-shirt and you are accusing NDC for vandalizing the place, moving all over the place. How? We are putting our people as agents. We have trained them. They are there in every place to ensure that they monitor the exercise in a manner that can protect the interests of the party. They monitor it in a manner that they can follow the rules and regulations of it. If there are cases, they challenge it. They should not quarrel. Yeah, I'm part of the training. I train a lot of them. I told them, there's no need for you to go and be quarreling at the registration center. It doesn't warrant it at all. Okay. What you need is to ensure that if the person is not a Ghanaian, you doubt it, take a complaint form, register it, take it to go beyond to electoral commission and file a report on it. There's no point you could come and quarrel. There's no point. Even we have advised them, minors should not be allowed to register. We have advised them, don't go and do double registration, you'll be caught. We have advised them, don't bring a foreigner to allow him to register, because that foreigner will be detected because it must prove an identity. He must prove that really is a Ghanaian if the person comes and is not. So all these, I don't know, since the exercise began, everywhere they're accusing it. So I was wondering how could they identify that the person is an NDC?
Let me come to Michael on that, because Michael, fine, you are with the Greater Accra communications team though, but I'm wondering, have you had this report from Kumasi and what have you done about it?
Well,
as a party,
I have heard about it. We have people, in this case, I'm talking about party officers from Ashanti region and Brother Hafo speaking directly to us at the party level.
Okay.
There's also been media reportage, on some of those incidents. But listening to Doctor, it's very interesting because perhaps what he might have, because he did most of the training for them. The kind of advice he had given to his people and hoping they were going out there to be more decent. That's not what is happening on the ground at all. I can tell you, Doctor keeps on asking, how do you identify somebody to be an NDC?
Well, of course, isn't it a valid question? How do you know if the person is an NDC
brother,
person?
See, party work. When we are engaged into party politics, the political activities are mainly localized. Within the constituency, these are people who reside there, and so people who are actively in politics.
So you get to meet them.
We know each other. Yeah, we know each other.
You know that he is on the other side, I'm on this side.
You don't need to put on. For example, I am putting on a T-shirt, okay, with the inscription "Atta plus John equals Gangantua crimes." Okay.
So then automatically someone who sees you will think you're on the other side.
Yeah, but that doesn't make me an innocent person. Okay.
Of course, with something like that, you will not be an innocent
person. The argument that because people may not be wearing party paraphernalia, they can be identified and linked up to parties. That is not yet.
But isn't it also a valid?
They ask you to prove.
That is why I'm saying that political activities are localized. Okay, most of the people who are engaged in active party work.
But what if the person or those persons involved in the act came from outside that locality to do what they are coming to do?
Because local people are already known.
Yes.
So they will not even engage.
Let me tell you something. I can cite numerous instances, okay, within the entire Greater Accra region, beyond what has happened elsewhere in Ashanti or Weja. There's a place called Agapi Down, and I'm sure you've heard about the media reportage. What happened there? Very violent. At the Valley View University, Oyibi. Okay, the NDC constituency vice chairman, Wan Alaji, was driving a BMW saloon vehicle. In fact, I had a cause to issue a press statement on some of these incidents, and we were not just blanket allegations. We're mentioning names of people, okay, and even those of them who are parading as national security operatives. We've mentioned their names, okay. We've mentioned their names. We've mentioned the vehicles they are using for the operations. Like in the radio, the guys using what? There's one guy called Pasasa, and another guy called Samuel Kote, but he's popularly called Chikata. These are all guys who parade themselves as national security operatives, and they are close allies to Delante Vanderpool. These are not.
Okay, so in such cases, knowing these people and even knowing their names, apart from issuing the press statement, have you gone further to report them to the party? Because Dr. Gidel is telling us that part of their training was to tell the people not to engage in violence. As law-abiding as we are, anytime there's an incident, the first point of call is the police, the local police. Okay. The local police administration, in this case the district police commander, whoever it is. We were forced to come out to issue the statement because apparently you could see that the police officers at the district level or at the constituency level don't seem to show enough ability.
Oh, but the IGP was all over saying that he would deal ruthlessly with anybody who attempt to disrupt. He's giving the policemen some kind of hope that anybody
the
IGP also everywhere.
But I'm talking about the local police. Okay.
Those who are stationed at the various police stations.
And that is what our press conference, my press statement, okay, the call was made to the top hierarchy of the police. In this case, if you have the IGP coming to say, it's because we have a feeling, okay, and don't forget that it's not every policeman who may be an NDC person. Okay, we also have people who are also sympathizing with us. They may tell you, Master, perhaps for fear of being victimized or for fear of being tagged an MPP person and being victimized later. Okay, so you see that we report incidents, we report the alleged perpetrators, and yet nothing is done at all.
But Dr. Gidel, has the police had cause to call your attention to the fact that XYZ number of your people or of NDC persons have been reported to them that they've been engaged in this or that?
Some of these allegations are being heard on radio everywhere. There's no any substantive evidence to prove. What happened is that...
So your men on the ground are also not reporting these issues to you?
They are reporting to us, but whatever happened...
You hear me mention names and you say,
I was, even yesterday, there was a reported incident within, how do you call it, one of the constituencies around Tudu area, that the people comes and register, they don't give them ID cards. I quickly went there to make sure that what is happening, because the registration said that whenever somebody registered, he must be given his ID card. You see, there was another body. You see, the problem is that the IGP has moved around. Even yesterday also, he's moving around, assuring everybody that he's going to deal ruthlessly with any person or group of persons who attempt to disrupt the registration. Now, in terms of registration exercise, the EC doesn't deploy policemen in the centers. Why? Because registration is quite different from elections. Yeah. You understand? So the EC does not deploy policemen all over. They only deal with issues as they come. You understand? So if you think you have an issue which actually borders around causing problems to the registration centers, what you need to do is to call for police, find out the problem, address the issue to the police. So that, but this business of accusing NDC everywhere in the radio, we don't have any substantial evidence. There's no any police. The mother has come to say that with NDC, he has what, arrested NDC group that they want to disrupt the registration. It says we don't have. In Malaysia, a group of people within the MPP went to vandalize the registration center in Malaysia. We had all these.
How did you know there were MPP people?
That's what it's a reported case. It's a reported evidence.
So at the end of the day, both parties are accusing each other, and it is just based on speculation.
Yes. See, the problem is that NPP has now been going around accusing this here and there about it. But we are saying that this registration is governed by law. What happened? What happened at the registration center? If anybody wanted to disrupt it, there are issues where you need to go and address them. So that you shouldn't go in moving. If they address an issue, a problem, I quickly call my members. Oh, this is what I heard. Oh, let's go and see what's happening there. It's no issue of going to the radio, going to the television, and saying this and that. No, you have to go and find out. Remember, there's an incident where the Joy FM was asked to go. One reporter, he went and nothing. There was nothing there. Just recently, if you remember, an incident that there was an NDC in Alaju that they have taken over the whole registrations center, and they are registering their people and what have you. He went there. Apparently, when he went, there was nothing there. You see the point? So these are issues that we don't need to disturb ourselves. Let all of us ensure that we help EC to conduct a peaceful registration. It's the election that matters most.
Started looking at the reported cases of violence that have been coming up, which the NDC has been accused of. But let's take this video insert from the Majority Caucus, where the NDC's communications director, who was also in the studio this week, actually sought to debunk the reports of the NDC perpetuating violence, and apparently the NDC has been preaching peace, that as far as he tells us that the party has been speaking to their members about. So let's take that. We'll be back to continue the discussion.
We think that if we are going to win the election, it depends on how serious we are as far as this particular exercise is concerned. Already we've engaged ourselves, our people on the ground. We are into a number of educating programs. We are asking our people to go down there and talk to them.
I think that is very, very important.
Yeah, go out and register. Over the weekend, we were in Koforidua. We had a massive, how do you call it?
Was it a keep fit?
Keep fit, yeah. Right? And it was to create the awareness, tell them that this is a process, right? Everybody should come out and do it in a very peaceful manner. We've told our people, don't be confrontational. Do you understand it? If you have any problem, the challenge form is there. Pick it up and do that. We are in for peace, and that is our position. We think that is the best, and we should all encourage it. We are encouraging our colleagues in the other parties to do the same. Right. At the end of the day, it's in the interest of the whole nation.
Exactly.
We wouldn't want to be hearing stories that are coming up. People are just concocting stories here and there to throw dust into the eyes of the citizenry, which for me it is wrong. The system has come to stay. We must all support it, support the EC, so that we all move forward and ensure a successful registration and voting.
All right, so you're welcome back. And Michael, before we went to the break, you wanted to make an intervention, but you heard also what Mr. James Asante has been saying, that they've been talking to their people, they've been urging them to remain calm, to exercise restraint.
Before commenting on that, let me just do a few reactions. I think doctor said that once somebody is registered, automatically you must be given the card. It is not wholly true. When you are challenged, and the challenge form
the card isn't given to you, yes.
The card is not given to you until the arbitration committee sits on it.
I'm talking in terms of having everything going through
smoothly, without any
challenge. Okay. You are supposed to be given a card.
Yeah.
So in a situation whereby you are not be given a card, we need to question.
And then also he also talks about making allegations without substantive evidence. Okay, and that is where I have a problem. You could see I've cataloged incidents mentioning names of people, people are not ghost names, but I mean real human beings. Okay, mentioning vehicles they are using, and you still claim this is we make allegations that we can substantiate. Interestingly, you made mention of a group of people in Kumasi, just a group. Okay, but I'm mentioning names. Okay, so it is not just a matter of. Interestingly, I can tell you two other things. People have sat down and they have come to realization that look, in a particular constituency, this is the voting pattern. I am weak here. My opponent is stronger here. What do we do? Let us try to disrupt it. And let me use Odododio as a typical example.
Okay.
Anybody who has followed consistently the voting pattern in Odododio knows that people around Ukaishi, Katamantu, Makola, Agboblushi, okay, these are areas that is made up of mainly traders, and most of them tend to, in terms of the records of, I mean, the electoral records, you could see that the NPP tends to have more votes, right? The NDC also tends to have votes more up at Kinkan, Koloko, Sempe, and other areas. I think you are against, so you know what I'm talking about. So the strategy has been that, look, let us try and then disrupt, if need be, put in fear, intimidation, and ensure that these people cannot turn out in their numbers to register. And I can tell you, it's on record that people...
But that is just a speculation.
These are not speculations. All the challenge forms. And I'm not here to do propaganda. I don't do propaganda. They do propaganda. I don't do it.
Okay.
I was not trained by Atanos, so I do real communication.
Okay, so where did you get your facts from?
Let me tell you, when you go to SIC and fire service, okay, I'm talking about areas within Tudu, okay. Most of the challenges that comes is that, look, you are an Akan, okay, you only come to sell here, you don't. But you see, the electoral rules don't say that. We have ordinary citizens, and I'm sure you know ordinary residents.
Ordinary residents.
Ordinary residents means where you spend the greater part of
your time there.
So if you even work, if you happen to work in an area where you qualify to register and vote. Beyond even that, and that is why on our campuses, let's say at the universities, we come from all over different regions.
There's polling
yes, and people
so that if you want to.
So this issue of people trying to say, look, you are an Akan or you are this, you are that, I don't think it is proper. Beyond that, when you look at the CBD, the Central Business District of Accra, Agbogloshi, Kunkuma Market, these are places that are that they are slums. They don't really have buildings. Agbogloshi, okay, Kunkuma Market, they don't really have buildings. Structures. I'm talking about, and so, but then I can tell you, people live there. Most of the people they live there. Some of them sleep in kiosks. Okay, their own kiosks.
Most of them actually.
Most of them. Okay, so if you are saying that, look, because you are unable to produce the house number of where you sleep or where you reside, that should not be enough grounds, because we all know that most of these people who ply their trade there, that is where they also stay. And
but even apart from the most streets and houses in Accra do not have numbers.
Yes, and I can tell you. You see, when you move to the Okaishi area, Tudu area, and all those things, there are people who sleeps on the pavements.
Yeah,
they sleep there after about 10. Okay, so you see, I am happy the way he speaks. I want to believe that the way he is speaking and the way the gentleman you showed speak, okay, if indeed they are committed to it, but we're not the NDC. We know the NDC.
You know that
you are President Mills, calling himself Asunjehini. Okay. There has been presidents, his predecessors before, under whose watch many by-elections have been conducted. Under President Rawlings. Okay. Unfortunately, today they call him the backing dog man. That's what they call him.
You call him that.
You call him the backing dog.
You call him me.
You call
okay,
him.
so what's the point you're trying to make?
But never in the history of this country have we recorded violent elections. So far, three by-elections and one. I would say that one is the six polling stations. You can't call it. It's a rerun.
Akotia.
It's a rerun. Okay. And all of them recorded very nasty incidents. In the case of Akotia, just 6 polling stations. The police has to, deploy not less than 2,000.
But those are elections. Those are elections proper.
There's a clear distinction.
This is the registration process. Why are we having these issues coming up at a registration exercise?
When you have the registration, election itself is a process.
Yes.
Election is not an event. Yes. It is not the vote that we cast on the day. Right from the registration, they are all part of it.
But that's more like the climax of everything we are doing.
Every registration,
and this one starts the whole process for us. So why are we having so much violence characterizing this one?
It doesn't matter how popular a party may be. It doesn't matter how acceptable, how appealing your party is. It doesn't matter the number of huge crowds you gather. If you are unable to ensure that you have a credible register, where people who turn up for your activities are indeed, card-bearing voters, you'll be making noise. And that is why any serious political party must take the registration as more serious than even the election itself. Okay. And I can tell you, the NDC also knows, from all intelligence sources and their BNI checks and surveying, that the party is not attractive now. It's not appealing now. I'm telling you, the government is seen to be a failed government. Okay. And so the only way out is to perhaps ensure that they disrupt the processes. Okay, people wouldn't be able to turn out in their numbers. So at the end of the day, you have few people go to take the decision for the majority of us. We say no. The EC says that vigilance is the key. The EC has shown a lot of commitment. Okay, by ensuring the onus lies on us to be vigilant.
Sure.
They can decide to say that what we're saying has no basis, we have no substance. We've not been able to substantiate all our allegations. But we are telling you, let doctors speak this way and let him act the same way on the ground. Let him ask people like Neil and Vanderpool and others to act the same way. He, doctor, is what advising.
Let me get some thoughts from Doc. Doc, you have trained people also for this biometric exercise. With all these confusion characterizing it, is it that the people, the party agents on the ground and party supporters who probably happen to be around, who are reported to be engaged in these scuffles and all that, is it that they do not understand the process very well? That's why they're engaging in all this?
No, when you say confusion all over, these are isolated problems that emanate during the registration exercise. Because sometimes the number of people that crowd over a center become very huge, and therefore controlling becomes an issue.
Yeah.
And secondly, if you look at what the MPP are saying, MPP are just pouring allegations, not even an issue to even look at, because the registration exercise is going on well. Our party, our government has committed itself in free and fair election. For the first time in the history of EC, they've been able to budget, and the government has supported the budget with $82 million into their coffers and to do this registration. If you look at the money spent, how can we again go and disrupt the elections or registration?
But he raised an interesting point about people like the Sodom and Gomorrah people.
What was saying?
You don't have the house.
There are speculations. So look. Let me tell you, the Zongo community in Kumasi, Ashanti region, has to hold a press conference, because when they go to register, what did they tell? Oh, you are not a Ghanaian. The Zongo community, a whole press conference was held in the Ashanti region, and they want the government to come out clearly to position themselves, because they have been there for over 300 years, and now when they go for registration, people are saying that they are not Ghanaians, and they held a press conference. It was everywhere in the media and what have you. What he was saying is speculation. How can you say that?
No, but at least the point I was trying to make...
in Accra's central business districts, that majority of them are voting for MPP, and therefore then this will go...
No, I wasn't even making that point. The point I was trying to make was that at least one of the things they would ask you definitely is your residential address.
Yes.
And you and I both, all of us here, we know that in Accra, not most parts of Accra do not have residential addresses.
Yes.
So if someone goes and is not able to produce a residential address, and someone else decides to make a case out of it, it could blow up and become something else.
It is not the issue of somebody making a case, the issue of the EC official who has asked those questions and should know how to handle such a person. It's not me, the NDC agent or the MPP agent, who should say, no, this is an issue that I need to handle.
But isn't it true that the party agents are making the issue out of it?
But who is making the issue? Who is making an issue out of it?
The party agents.
Which agents? Which agent?
I'm not saying it's a specific party.
That's the question. You see the problem? You see, the issue is that some of these issues should be handled by the EC. It is not in our duty to say that this person doesn't have an house number and therefore it should not be registered. You are supposed to what? If there's a problem, I tell you, there are ways for you to address them. Somebody comes, it doesn't have an house number. The EC is the one interrogating the person. What is your name? What is your mother's name? What is your age? What is your house number? And therefore, from there, the person should be able to sort himself out. If there are problems, and maybe an agent wished to help, or an agent wanted to, it's the EC who has the mandate on that person. No agent has that mandate. So saying that, okay, the NDC would stop somebody, who, where, when? You see the point? So those allegations are not there at all. What we need, I'm saying, and I keep saying, the MPP should know that the registration exercise is quite different from an elections. We want to ensure that we have a peaceful registration exercise, because the bane of every election is to get what? A successful register. A register that is credible, a register that is acceptable, a register that is authentic. And all of us must work towards it. This business of putting accusation on accusation will not help. Go train your people, guide the process, making sure that the process is well organized. And we are lucky that now the machines are working very well. Initially, we had a problem. By this time, the system is working very well. It registers more than 100 a day, and that is very good for Ghana, because things are working well. So what we need is support the EC, so we get a very credible register. This business of accusing.
Yes. In the first place, I want Doctor and all our NDC brothers to understand that the MPP is a very responsible political party. We know how sensitive the credibility of the registration exercise is towards the peace and the stability of this country. We wouldn't just come out to make statements which we don't have enough evidence to buttress it. All his attempts is to say that, look, we're just making noise. But let me tell you, today, Zongo Lane at the okay. A gentleman by name Lante, I'm told is a brother of the candidate Vanderpois.
You see the problem. You see,
you are told, but you are not sure.
These things cannot hold.
I'm saying, wait. Oh. I am not saying that if I say I'm told, in the case of his relationship with the candidate, but not the incident.
No, and that's what I meant. That in case the relation you don't know for a fact.
I don't know for a fact. That is why I say I'm told.
Even the incident is the same.
But I am telling you today, he took a card. He took the card of one gentleman.
A registration.
After he's registered, and this Blante guy, is not even an NDC party agent. Collect the card from the guy, claiming that the guy speaks Akan and that he only comes to sell there. When I was told, I made sure I sent people there, went there myself, spoke to the NDC agents and the MPP agents and the EC officials for them to go collect the card. In fact, we are doing, listen, please wait. We had even wanted to report the guy to the police because it is criminal.
So why didn't you do that?
Criminal offense, no. But the most important thing is that once the card was retrieved, okay, and you have the NDC officials, trying to calm things down. You don't also over prolong it. But what I'm saying is that we wouldn't do any such thing. Look, criminal offenses must be treated as what? Criminal offenses. If I wouldn't,
but it's a very serious crime for somebody to get a car from somebody. Yes, it's a very serious offense.
You see, you may not. I will just sit down. I've told you. We know how sensitive this exercise, is.
So is the lantern an NDC man?
Oh, it is.
How do you know?
Oh, why? But I don't know.
You see, how do you know that it's an NDC person? You say it's not an agent. He's not an NDC agent.
Political party activities.
He's not an NDC agent. He's not, isn't it?
So you're
political party. I want to repeat this again. Political party activities are localized. They are localized.
I was
so you know the Lantern guy personally.
The people who do party activism in localities, those who are active, we know each other.
So you know the Lantern guy.
Yes, I mean, those of the MP people know. I mean, we know each other. Why? They all put the same people in the same house or even in the same family. Okay, I have brothers who are NDC. Okay, I have blood brothers who are NDC. Okay, and I'm an MPP. And you are saying you are saying I don't have enough grounds to believe that somebody is an NDC. No, let us know.
No, we need to be very careful because some of these things are very serious. Some of these
things. Then you also made a statement that I take a very bad exception to. You spoke about the Zongo community.
Yes, they held a press conference.
The Ashanti region.
Yes, Ashanti. They held a press conference.
No.
You just allow him to.
I hope you don't do like a difficulty or
Michael, go ahead.
No. Propaganda ministers.
Go ahead with your submission on that issue.
What I'm saying is this. You see, and doctor, I know may have some relationship with the Zongos. The MPP today, our appeal, our attractiveness to the Zongo communities is unprecedented. We will never do anything, okay, to discriminate against people from Zongo. If there are NDC people in Kumasi Zongo who hold a press conference,
it's not saying NDC.
We are the only party in whose structures we have a special ladder or structure for the Zongo, the Nasara. The national level we have Nasara, regional level we have Nasara, constitutional level we have Nasara. And the Nasara it was designed mainly specifically for the Zongo. So we command sizable number of support at the Zongo level. Please.
We also have Zongo Caucus.
I'm talking about people who have the accreditation to go to Congress. No, I'm not talking. I mean, that is the highest.
So make a point.
What I want to say is this: the bad governance, okay, the hardships, the business failures is affecting virtually everybody. People in the Zongos who are genuine businessmen, who don't depend on Woyome and other, controversial judgment debt to live, okay, are all crying against you. So let us not try to behave as if the NDC monopolizes or has monopoly over the Zongos. No. If you are going to organize your own people, your sympathizers in the Kumasi Zongo to hold press conference, don't say the Zongo people held the press conference.
It's the Zongo people who held the press conference.
Now, but let's take the discussion forward now. With all these reports coming in every now and again about disruptions to the registration exercise and the parties accusing each other, what are the two main parties? Because you are accusing each other almost every time. What are you two main parties doing about the reported cases that keep coming up? And how are you ensuring or contributing to ensure that the registration goes on without all these
if you look at the way and manner some of these incidents are being reported, like I keep saying, it's being reported on one side of the political divide, seeing this accusation and upon accusation. I'm of the view that if there is an incident and you really believe that that incident is a disruption to cause the registration problems there are ways and manner that you need to address them so that people will know that indeed there is disruption, action has been taken by the police, and therefore this and this are involved. Let us handle the issue so that when these issues are being handled, I'm sure it will also help other centers. Anyone who wants to cause that disruption in our centers can also take a cue out of it, because in one center there's this incident, the policemen have come, they have arrested the culprit, they have taken the culprit. You understand? You hear this on newspaper, you hear that. Definitely there will be calm and whatever. But if those evidences are not there to substantiate those allegations, so that you cannot get the culprit, you keep making allegations and allegations, then it means we are not moving forward. You understand? So unless otherwise we've been able to say, okay, this is an issue, let us handle it. Policemen should take it over, so that the pockets of incidents that is happening in other sectors can take a cue of it, and then all of us will get ourselves out of those incidents. That is the best for us. You understand? Right. We believe that some of these things are really not an issue for the MPP to keep crying for here and there. Let us all focus on the registration exercise. Let us all ensure that we get a very peaceful registration. The election is the most important. And you see, when you know that you are going to lose an election, that is where you begin moving up and down, skelter skelter, because our record is unprecedented. We keep saying,
okay, oh yes, Michael, we'll be back to take. You will be able to take yours. You will be able to take your submissions as well. But at this point, I was going to take your view on how we can move the exercise forward from the confusion that seems to be engulfing it. So the MPP in particular has, as you say, you've mentioned some names for us. Have you handed those persons over to the security agencies, or are you ready to hand them over so that they serve as an example for others?
I can say about 99% of them, where we have enough evidence, those cases are reported to the police. And when you go to the police, when you check with the police, the records are there. So, but beyond that, I think on the question of what we're doing, we believe strongly that there is the need for us to have a closer collaboration between us as a party and state institutions. For example, we are in constant touch with the EC at all levels, national, regional, and the district level of the EC, to ensure that at least, you know, things that we are not very clear with or our concerns are addressed. Issues that borders on security, we're doing well to relate very well with the security. Well, like I said, nobody can doubt the professionalism of our security agencies. I mean, and that is why they are needed more in other countries for peacekeeping operations. And so those are the key.
Okay, let me catch you in. Sorry, I understand now we have Elton John Brobe of Love FM on the phone. Let's go straight to him. Good evening, Elton.
Good evening.
Okay, thanks for joining us. Can you bring us up to speed on the recent controversies that have characterized the biometric registration exercise in the Ashanti region, particularly in the Asokwa constituency, as we understand?
Yeah, thank you very much. And I think that basically the biometric registration exercise has been smooth in most parts of the Ashanti region. The place you just mentioned, the Asokwa constituency, specifically the Caucus area. Yesterday evening around 5 p.m., close to the close of the registration exercise, an NDC agent, an NPP agent, was beaten up by some people. We do not know the identity yet, but we are told that the MPP agent challenged the nationality of an applicant who wanted to register. Now, after the man could not produce any evidence to establish his nationality as a Ghanaian, the MPP agent decided that he was not going to allow the man to register. Unfortunately, also, there was no challenge form. So, therefore, the man had to go away. A few minutes later, some people, numbering almost 10, came to the station, we are told, beating the MPP agent up. But as of now, the identities of these gentlemen have not been established. So the registration officer decided to suspend the exercise. This morning, the police had to bring in some security personnel to ensure peace at the registration center close to the Abinchi area. So after some time, then I saw about 3 policemen on my rounds this morning at the various polling centers at the Caucus area, and that ensured some security at the polling center. This particular incident prompted the Ashanti Regional Minister to call for an emergency RECSEC meeting that ended around 6 p.m.
So what has the
characterized by accusations and counter-accusations? The parties and the Ashanti Regional Minister, who is the chairman of the RECSEC, came to a conclusion that in the second phase of the registration exercise, which is starting next week, they are going to deploy military and police personnel at all the centers, especially at the flash points in the Ashanti region.
Okay.
The parties committed themselves to this arrangement, and we are hoping that from next week we will see more security personnel in almost all the centers. But I can tell you for a fact that the accusations have been coming in from both parties. They are all claiming that their supporters have been beaten by their opponents. But unfortunately, sometimes it's difficult to verify and establish the authenticity of such allegations.
Yeah.
Yesterday, for instance, we were presented with medical forms of some people alleged to have been beaten by MPP tax. MPP also this morning catalogued alleged brutalities measured to their members. So I think that this is getting interesting. We are only hoping that once they've committed themselves to this afternoon security meeting recommendation, they will live up to it.
All right. Thank you very much, Elton, for bringing us that update.
Thank you very much, my brother.
All right. Elton John Brobe is with our sister station Love FM in Kumasi, and he gave us that update as regards some of the confusion that has surrounded the biometric registration exercise in the Ashanti region, particularly in the Asokwa constituency and, as he said, the Kase electoral area in particular. But well, as you heard him, the parties have committed to the resolution of the RECSEC that from next week or from the next phase of the exercise, combined military and police personnel will be deployed. Let me activate the phone lines now. 0302-211-701, 0302-211-702. You can also join us with your thoughts on the issues we're discussing. Yes, Michael.
Yeah, I always get excited when I hear the NBC and the president talks about unprecedented achievements. Indeed, I agree. The unprecedented negative achievements. Yeah, I mean, controversial judgment, debt, huge monies to Moyume, much free and all
we're
these
talking
things.
about what you were doing.
That's the only thing they can say.
We're talking about what you were doing to ensure that the process is successful. Like, for instance, we've just heard from Kumasi right now. The parties have agreed to a RECSEC resolution that they deploy more, they beef up the security for the centers. Okay, I understand Abdul is already on the line. Hello, good evening, Abdul, and welcome to the show.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm called Abdul Majid, calling from Boku.
Okay, keep your comments brief for us, and go ahead.
Okay. I must admit that the biometric registration in the Boku Central constituency is going smoothly.
Okay.
It was just that the first day registration, there was a lot of interruption here and there, breakdown of machines, and predominantly the breakdown of machines occurs at MPP strongholds, and that is South Natinga and then North Natinga. But for some time now, it's been better. Somehow they are working on it.
Okay.
But actually, there are certain problems that we are facing in the Boku Central, and that problem is Mama Yaraga has provided a vehicle for the NDC youth. So the NDC youth are riding on those vehicles, monitoring the system. But the kind of monitoring they are doing, even though they are not party agents and they can, so the party agents are normally there, those monitoring the biometric registration comes there normally there are more than 20 young guys that normally comes there to cause problems. So actually the issue has even been reported to the police about the work of such patrol teams.
Okay.
So we are calling on the police as a matter of urgency to either stop those macho men from doing that, or they should get people who are reasonable enough and knows the process of the biometric registration to be monitoring the process.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
thank you very much, Abdul Majid. Now let's cross over to Bongo and pick our next caller. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the show.
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name,
yes,
please?
This is Jonathan.
Oh, Jonathan.
Friend, of course, as you know.
Jonathan, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. As usual, Bongo never is watching this program. He greets Zion.
I know. Nah. Did I get it? Nah, but good. I got it. Okay.
Yes. Honorable Peter Yembesa, the constituency chairman of MPP, also agrees
Okay.
He is also the assemblyman for Bongo electoral area.
All right, but your time is going, so go straight to the point and keep it brief.
Registration. Let me just keep in with. I want to just congratulate Nana Akufo-Addo for choosing Dr. Bahamud Bawumia. I said this evening in Bongo here, people were saying that they won't vote, but you know what? They are saying that they are going to vote because it is now time for us to get rid of the politicians. Nana Akufo-Addo has been able to bring Dr. Bahamud Bawumia on board.
Jonathan, we are talking about the biometric registration.
Biometric, yes. Sorry, just 1 minute with the biometric. Okay. The NDC is aware that they are going to lose all elections. Come to Bongo and see. Go to electoral area and see. These people are there with special forces. Are we going to war? Just registration, and you are moving there with special forces.
All right. Jonathan, thank you very much. Let's pick our last caller, Abdul Zafar. Hello, Jafara.
Yeah. It's Jafara Chipura from India.
Okay, Jafara, you're my last caller.
Comment about the registration. So far, it has been smooth in any district. So, except yesterday that we had a little misunderstanding between both parties, that is NDC and MPP, where people from Tamale, specifically the Azuka boys, from Tamale came down to Yindi to cause some tensions, so that disrupted the registration. But since this morning, we hope that, thank God, that there was nothing misunderstanding again. And let's comment. The main aim of coming was that they heard about some 10 people coming from somewhere to install us chiefs and those sort of things. So that's not about their coming. But since last month, the military patrol went and we have been the ship come in the town here. So I hope that so far the registration has been smooth. We just call on the security personnel to increase their phones to misunderstand between the two parties.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jafara, for your comment. We're just about wrapping up. Let me start with okay. Let me start with you, Michael. The Northern region has been fairly peaceful this time around, as the callers have been telling us.
In fact, I can tell you that this particular exercise, so far, we need to really commend our Northern brothers, all the 3 Northern regions. If we have any perception or believe that it has been one of our flashpoints, I think they've proven all of us wrong.
Okay, so now let me take your final words and then we can...
Well, we as a political party, the APP as a political party, we are very committed in ensuring that the stability and the peace of this country is not compromised. Beyond that, we also have enough confidence in the EC, our security agencies, particularly the police service and the Ghana forces. However, we still want to let our brothers know that the fact that we are very law-abiding does not mean that they can just go around and tie our hands on our back. We are reminding them that this particular election is not the Funka game.
Okay.
Like what happened in Sunyani, where they tried to prevent, and call for early prayers.
Let me take.
I'm not.
No, you are digressing. Let me take Dr. Jidel. We have about barely a minute to wrap up.
Yeah. What I want to say is that actually we, the NDC, are committed to free and fair elections. And the first point of that is to ensure that we have a very credible register, which our government has committed itself. We have provided the EC all the logistics required to ensure that we have a very credible register. All of us, we have also trained our men to ensure that at least they make sure that this registration exercise went on smoothly. Our people must come out and register, so that at the end of the day, we have a very credible register, which of course will lead us to a very free and fair elections. The allegations being meted out by brothers is unfounded. It can never hold anywhere. Let them all move and make sure that they also monitor the exercise, so that these allegations and counter allegations will not help all of us. We want to make sure that we have a very credible register, and therefore we have free and fair elections, so that Ghana must be peace.
Thank you.
The country belongs to all of us.
We
are working and making sure that things work out very well.